You are listening to Let's Go, the weekly anime podcast about weekly anime from Dynamite in the Brain and Secret of the Sailor Madness. So come along and hang with the Let's Go gang. It's Dwayne.
Oh yeah.
There's no Niall because he didn't listen to me when I told him he was getting old and he's not going to recover as quickly as he thinks he is from traveling to America and back. And there is me because I am old. And in theory, I know not to push my body too far and wear myself out. But I think we can tell from this week's earlier in the year that is not true.
Yeah, so Niall will be joining us next week for, I guess, Otaku Convention news. Yeah.
Yes. Meanwhile, we're going to tell you all about the things that aired July 27th to August the 2nd, 2024. Just noticed my glasses are smeary and they're going to annoy me. So I will deal with that in a second.
Okay.
But first up is, talking of eyes, it's the Elusive Samurai episode 4, Sadamune Appears.
Sadamune has cartoon bug-out eyes, but like in the most horrific way you can represent that because they're actual eyeballs and function as such.
Yeah, so he's been made the governor of the area, the sewer. Is the area called the sewer, or the sewer is just the particular?
I think that's the temple. Like it's the Suwa temple or like,
yeah.
Yeah, I'm bad at fucking geography and technicalities, and this is all politics and geography and history that I have no fucking idea about, and I'm bad with words and dates. So yeah. I still enjoy the show.
They suspect correctly that our mad divine god priest on Earth is harboring fugitives. And so they said this guy who is got an amazing eyesight.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I'll send you. You were the first guys to betray them for my side, and your eyesight is unparalleled because he picks out like 4 fleas from like a fucking dead boar, and it's like there's fucking 1 female and 4 males in your hand, and he's like, whoa, fucking all right, okay, you'll definitely be able to spot any insurrection then.
Yes, because the thing that Takeuchi has done with the Emperor is the Emperor's like, oh, you did so well, Takeuchi. We've put power back with the Imperial Court. It's not in the hands of the Shogun anymore. So, what role do you want in the Imperial Court? He's like, oh no, I'm just a mere soldier, sir. I would never take a role in the Imperial Court, but I've got all my right-hand men. Could you find roles for them to do?
Listen, they're not warriors like me. They can't get a job fighting like I can. So could you give these lads a job? Could you do me a solid and give these guys a job? That'd be great. And it's like, how humble of him. He's not taking the fucking power for himself. No, he's planting his boys loyal to him in positions of power. And it's obvious because, history and also the menacingness of the whole situation. But yeah.
He also seemed like a little bit of worry from his stewards at how Takeuchi is behaving, as if this is not quite the behavior he was previously familiar with, which just got that kind of an expression in the face.
Yeah.
And Takeuchi asking if he's concerned about something, and him sort of assuring him that no, but we kind of can tell. And there's something going on there. And then, the rest of it is we've got to train Tokiyuki. His swordsmanship is terrible. He's got no strength behind his blows.
Because he's always like pulling back, ready to run away, which is very funny. It
turns out he's really good with a bow, so therefore we're going to combine those 2 skills, and we're going to teach him how to shoot a bow while running away. At which point Sadamune shows up and everyone else to hide. And while he's there, he cuts the ear of one of the shrine priestesses.
Just because he can. It's basically, I'm in charge of your local area now. I can do whatever the fuck I want. I'm just trying to provoke you because I think you're up to shit. And I've spotted 3 potential insurrectionists now that I'm just come into your place. Including correctly, he saw some kids hiding in the shed. But yeah.
So Yorishige is prior to Sanamune showing up, he was like, "Who are we going to get to teach him how to fire a bow and move at the same time?" And then, of course, now Sanamune has shown up. It's like, this is going to be your teacher's Takayuki. So you're going to observe him and perhaps even be out in public in disguise under a false name. And this all leads up to a competition and a trap in a Robin Hood type manner, except I guess the Robin Hood is the government official this time, and the bow contest is being set up by the rebels.
Robin Hood was a government official. He was Robin of Locksley. Like, he had a position and lands and shit. So that's.
But it wasn't like the Merry Men had set up an archery competition to trap the sheriff of Nottingham.
I guess that's true. Yeah, yeah.
What happens here? Because they make a bet, and essentially, as if this small, because Sanamune is like, yeah, he wants to show off his skills. It's a dog shooting competition, which we get the funny joke later on where Yoroshige's wondering what people are going to think of him in the future. And
I actually like those jokes in the comic as well, of him going like, it's like, this is fucked up now, but it's regional, it's cultural tradition here, but it is going to be considered animal cruelty, and I cannot, like, he's seeing what we can see is like, shooting dogs, that's kind of fucked up. It's like, no, it's tradition. Come on, like, but he's caught by they're not actually killing the dogs, they're hitting them with like weighted arrows, but that's still not great. Like,
so yes, so yeah, challenges Sanamune challenges. Oh, what are we going to do? Well, I'm going to make this small child battle you, which then is completely insults Sanamune.
Yeah, because Sanamune is like coming and is like, hey, I tell you what, if anyone can beat me, like, he's like, if I win this archery contest, then let's sweeten the deal. I can go into anyone's house and like be like, police, any fucking insurrectionists in here, any fucking Hojo fucking clan members or whatever, loyal to them, or and he's like, all right, if I win, then you get the fuck off my land, and you don't get to search anyone ever. The opposite thing. And also, here's the worst guy. It's this little fucking kid. It's like, he's the worst of us. So, we said we'd do it that way. How about that? It's just.
Also, I'm going to add an extra rule to this, so you can now shoot at the person riding the horse as well.
And the mark, like, it's like 5 points to the head or 4 points to the body. It's like, it's the same point system to dogs, but to the opposite rider. Yeah.
And then we get the answer of, how is this show going to handle animating horses? And
finally,
the answer is poorly.
CGI horses, CGI characters. I mean, they definitely got the character design, which are generally quite complicated, and put them on a horse, and it was just like,
kind of move a little robotically. The horses probably move better than the horsemen do, to be honest.
Because all they have to do is do a regular horse run. Yeah. There's some parts where they did do like animated horses for the nice bits, but for the general like running around aiming at dogs, it was CGI horses, CGI horse riders.
And then this is the bit where I have to remember, where did this episode end? And where did the next episode begin? Because I have watched a bit of I watched the rest of this.
How it kind of goes is the kid takes a shot at him first, misses, and he's like, "You fucking little motherfucker!" Like, and he's kind of like thinking like, "All right." So he needs to get like one shot off on the dogs, because he's kind of.
There's a special dog who's been trained to be hit.
Yeah. He misses the first time, and then the dog's like, "Come on, motherfucker! I don't get paid unless you."
Of him being trained how to do this, where apparently this dog has learned how to read as part of his training.
I mean, this guy has divine powers. He's made this dog very smart as a fall dog. A dog who's trained to take a fall. He gets him with his third arrow. So he's still got 2 arrows left, and then and he's like, okay, so we're just doing this to rile him up, and you keep like basically he's gonna miss you because you're just gonna dodge out of the way, but he does clip him on the head with his last arrow, which is like, I think it's like 5 points or whatever. It's the high score. So it's just like, okay, if I just ride in your blind spot, you can't shoot me, and I'm gonna fuck you up every time you try and take aim at one of the dogs, and I'll still win the contest. So I think he's got 2 arrows in his quiver, and the guy's got a plan, but it's just like, oh my god, he's so scared. He actually took damage. I'm bleeding, and he's like, oh, this is now I'm fucking in it for the game. That's where it ends with that weird kind of horny look he gets on his face when he's like, "I'm in danger." It's still weird, but that's how it goes. Yeah.
Yes, it's weird because he's got a look on his face, and of course Yorishigi gets an even more mischievous look on his face when this sort of thing occurs. Yeah, there's some other good stuff from this episode. Is the spot where Sadamoon is whispering to somebody, and it's his eye whispering into his ear.
There's also the point where like he gets in close to our priest Carter, and he's like, "Oh, I'm watching you," and he gets so close, like the dude pokes him in the nose. It pokes him in the eye with his nose. So the dude's rubbing his nose and he's rubbing his eye like immediately after. It's like they're cartoonishly bulging eyes, but they are eyes. And they have the properties of eyes. It hurts when you poke them.
Yeah, when he holds the sharp bits of the arrow. What they're called? What they're called?
The pointy end of the arrow. Yeah, fucking hell. I forgot an arrow etymology. Yeah.
They have it up to his chin, and it fits exactly in the same shape as the shadow under his chin of the character design. So it's a clever visual touch because when it's not CGI,
his precision and whatnot. Yeah,
it's kind of every sort of visual choice seems absolutely deliberate. It's just they decided they want to draw horses and people riding on horseback because it's so hard.
Yeah.
Why couldn't nature make it easier? Animal for us to ride on and also draw.
Maybe we need to just switch to camels. Like, I think camels are easier to draw, right?
I think so, yeah. It's all the stuff with the legs, isn't it?
Yeah, and horse legs move at a fucking weird thing, man. They only discovered that once they did the like stop motion stuff. They were like, "Holy shit, that's bizarre."
Yeah, weird because we've bred to possibly be even weirder. But not as weird as dogs. I don't think we've fucked up horses as much as we have dogs.
No, dogs are completely fucking ruined as a wolf. They're still cool, but yeah.
Yes. Then we got my dear friend Nokatan, episode 4, Deer Club Under Siege, in which we meet the rest of the student council. 3 more weirdos. We've got the. Oh my gosh,
the announcer is initially going like, "One of these characters desires the destruction of the Deer Club," and then immediately after credits, like, "Is this one?" It's like, yeah, we're that kind of show. We don't dick around that much. So
yes, Neko Yamada, who's the vice president, who's got red hair and it's tied up in sort of Katia shapes. She's smallest character so far. She weirdly has her top is designed that it looks like it's supposed to be too big for her, but it's clearly just the arms are too big for her. The rest of it fits her.
The rest of it has been fitted to her, but they ran out of tailoring budget when they came to do the arms. So she has adorably long sleeves. She'll grow into it, I guess. Maybe her older sister, it's a uniform passed down, and her older sister had a remarkably short torso and really fucking long arms. We don't know. But it's to make her look even shorter than she does, which the show goes out of its way of doing by having her bring like a footstool with her everywhere so she can reach high things.
Yeah, her thing is I've got to find dirt on Koshitan so I can remove her from the president of the student council.
It's just shots of everything in the prior shows where it's like, damn, how is she getting all the attention? And she was there in that scene on a stool, like going like shaking her fist at Koshitan, and the idea that from Koshitan's perspective is like, oh, she's a little rude and whatnot, but she gets the job done, and it's like she's getting the job done to make you look like an asshole. That's the only reason she's getting the job done. But yeah, good shit.
And it's Chiharu, who is so completely calm as to be unreadable. No idea what's going on inside her. And then Kinu, who is the opposite, who overreacts to everything. And we get an introduction to those in like the first part. The second part is Chiharu shows up at the Deer Club and hangs around. Koshitan can't get a reading off her, and is getting annoyed that Chiharu seems to like Nokatan more than she likes Koshitan.
Everything she's doing to win her affections is not working, whereas Koshitan is doing like the dumbest, stupidest thing, like covering her in deer crackers and like that. Do you like that? What the fuck?
Also, she's recorded the song from the previous episode onto her laptop by watching the last week's episode. She recorded it and put it on the laptop, and she showed it to Shep. And then the third part is that Koshitan and Kinu end up getting shut in the equipment shed, school's equipment shed.
God, could you imagine if we got shut in the school's equipment shed? They'd get shut in the school's equipment shed. The crybaby is going to the worst possible scenarios of them just going mad and becoming ghosts and whatnot. Yeah.
And they try and attract Nokotan's attention, but she's too busy imagining a complete music video for this song she's written that she thinks is going to win an award. But also, while Koshitan's looking out the window at Nokotan imagining this, she can also apparently see this music video.
Yeah. And comment on it, obviously. Yeah.
I think the third part's my favorite because it has such ridiculous visual gags. Like Kinu crying so much it lifts her off the ground.
From the sheer force of her tears. Yeah.
And her story about what's going to happen to them, and it's like, well, we'll be here for so long, and then we'll die, and then we'll become an urban legend, and then someone will make a boring video about it.
That's the worst possible fate. Yeah.
But they are eventually set free by Nokotan because Nokotan needs to recover the mushroom she's been secretly illegally growing inside the exercise
horse. Yeah.
Which is where Kinu has been hiding towards the end of this sketch. And then they all enjoy rice and mushrooms together, including Shiharu is back as well. And we end with Neko sort of wondering where everybody else has gone and failing to get any evidence again. I assume this is going to be a frequent recurring cursing. Because quite often in the first half, her thing is that she's saying, I've got to get evidence, but then she's still very committed in doing her job as the vice president, that she spends all her time actually doing what she's supposed to be doing and not doing her evil scheme.
Because she wants to be vice president, she's working harder for it, and therefore not actually going about getting the actual vice president fired from the job. Yeah.
But enjoyed this still. I like that it's got these 3-part stories.
Yeah. If it was anything less, like they would feel drawn out, but each one kind of stays punchy. Yeah.
I mean, it's not. I don't think my high mark at the moment is The Vampire Dies in No Time in terms of sort of comedy adaptations. This isn't reaching that, but I am enjoying it, and I like when it takes the more fanciful things of the music video and sort of the narrator breaking the fourth wall, the characters breaking the fourth wall, and the general craziness.
Yeah. It's sticking with very cartoony rules for how things is, like being able to see the music video someone's imagining in their head, or recording last week's episode so you can show it to the new characters. Like, good shit.
Yes. Another show breaks the fourth wall. It's not what I was expecting to this week. Kinnikuman Perfect Origin Arc, episode 3, in which we are still with Terry Man and his fight against Max Radial.
The man with truck tires for shoulders. Also, hair suspension for legs.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not sure how that one works. That seems very vague, but it works for him. Yeah.
A harder watch while my car's in the garage waiting for some very expensive work to be done to it. Gotta bring in a specialist. Which made me feel like, normally I go to this garage because it's cheap and reliable, and I was just there. Once it's got to this point, so what it needs a new regulator for the airbag. Obviously, it has to pass the MOT.
Sure.
Which will require bringing in an automotive electrician, which the garage does not have on site. I was like, would it have been cheaper just to take it to a dealer? I'm sure I've got charged more in the long term overall, but it might have been quicker, and therefore it might have reduced the amount of costs. Who knows?
Would you be okay with it if the expert that they brought in was an 8-foot tall man with truck tires for shoulders?
Yes, I'll be fine with that. That would be great. Though at this point, I won't get to beat him.
No, not after this.
So yes, Terry Man, it just shows his guts and keeps on telling.
You made me bigger and stronger and have truck tires for shoulders, which negates like a surprising amount of my moves. But I never give up, and that's all I need, really.
You're noticing the bits of your tires have been falling off. And so therefore I'm going to elbow one of the tires completely to smithereens. And Max Radio's like, if you do that, you're going to lose your elbow. It's like, well, that's a perfectly fine cost of justice.
Yeah. And with only one shoulder tire, Max Radial can now get the Bronco branding or whatever, calf branding. That was it.
And then a brake stuff.
But surely he, a perfect Chojin, could not lose to these inferior, whatchamacallem, Idol Chojin, I think is their group.
Yes, the Idol Chojin is the sort of the main character group,
So, and the other perfect ones are like, yeah, so here's my fucking wooden sword. And he's like, all right, I'm just going to throw myself on your wooden sword, which I feel like must be more painful than a regular sword because it's blunt. That's kind of the point of a wooden sword.
And Terry Man's kind of like, he's expressing the thesis of the show. He's like, no, we're supposed to fight and then we'll understand each other better and then we'll become friends. You can't just go and kill yourself.
Yeah, so this is like that's fucking with him for the rest of the episode, where he's basically like, I'm not going to fight if you cunts are going to kill yourself because I need you to survive so we can be friends for the next cunts to come along and we work together to fight those guys. That's how this works. It's the premise of the show. Come on. I'm not fighting a guy if they're going to kill themselves if I win, because that doesn't feel good for me. But they're all like, but we're going to kill you. It's like, yeah, you say that now, but we're going to be friends after we fight. Like that's how this goes. But no, Max Rayleigh sacrifices himself and all the perfect Chojin. Yes, he sacrificed himself perfectly because as failing once, losing one match means you're not perfect anymore and die. Yeah.
Kinnikuman shows up to explain to Terry Man he doesn't have to fight these other six bastards. Your friends here. And then these guys.
It's like if nothing else happened in this episode, if this one fucking thing happened in this episode, I was just like, great fucking episode, love it, fantastic. Cannot predict that at all.
Yes, they form a giant gun. They load themselves into the gun. Strung the Budo, shoots the gun. They as bullets tunnel into the ground, forming holes which now have words across the top of them.
Yeah.
And they tunnel throughout the world where they emerge in various cities. They're all the cities of the hometowns of the various.
Well, it's not cities. I think it's like it's mostly architectural features, except for America that just gets the Grand Canyon. I'm pretty sure they have some architectural features you could have went with, like. But all right, fair enough.
And they set up rings, and they're like, okay, well, just when you're ready, Idol Chojin, leap into those holes, and we'll have a fight. And then they go, oh my goodness, it's terrible. It's taken the Idol Chojin longer than we thought to get medical clearance. We can't let them out. But luckily, 5 mysterious masked figures show up to help Kinnikuman. Kinnikuman leaps through the hole to go and fight Peekaboo.
I've forgotten the sumo wrestling. The main ring for sumo wrestling. I can't think of the name of it now. Yeah.
Budokan.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. So these 5 mysterious masked individuals who all look identical at this point until they take their masks off,
and then they're going to be farcical shapes as soon as they do. You know, they're just not going to be normal shaped people. But yeah, one of them body checks Terry Man from going in the Grand Canyon hole. This is just wild fucking shit sentences that I have to fucking say to describe this. And he's like, no, Terry Man, you must take care of your health or something like that, I think he says.
Yeah. Yes, so that's guys, yeah. Okay, I must have gone straight to the next episode, and I may have watched the entirety of that one.
You're having that good of a time. That's grand.
Righty-ho. Yes, it's a grand old time. Then, Mayadaka Punch, episode 4. The star of the next video is who? In a very special episode of Mayadaka Punch.
I didn't think this would be the show that deals with the sadness of being an immortal vampire. But yeah, it is the special episodes that I got to do it.
Yes, it's like, is it possible to do this with any of the other characters? And I'm thinking possibly not, because everyone else established themselves as being monsters to some degree or the other.
Yeah, see, well, I think when we said before that every character in this is an asshole, it's just like, well, she hasn't shown herself to be an asshole yet, and it turns out no, she's not an asshole. She feels like she's an asshole, which is what none of the other assholes do feel like. That's how you know you're not an asshole. People at home, if you feel like a jerk, you're probably not a jerk. Jerks don't feel like that.
Yes, yeah. This is the Fu centric episode, as we learned that when she was younger, she befriended
younger when she was like in the late 80s to early 90s. Is basically not that much younger for a vampire.
No, because we don't know how. Did they mention how old she is? It's like,
I think everyone's like at least 100, right?
Levi like 200 years old. We know that Takagi is younger than Levi.
Yeah.
She looks older.
Hmm.
And then I guess we don't know the other people's. Yeah, but yes, essentially,
yeah.
A friend who played guitar was always trying to get Fu to sing with her. Of course, Fu is reticent to do this because she's a vampire and she doesn't want to deal with the questions of like, okay, we're going to become idols. And,
like literally
older and the other one is
literally that other vampire shows up at their house with another like cooler of presumably blood packs for them. Again, I don't think they're allowed to eat people based off of how often she seems to show up in the past and the present with blood for them. Where she's like, so you're going to be like a singer, huh? The singer who doesn't show up during daylight hours and like, you know, it's just like, and never ages. That's gonna look real fucking weird, don't you think? It's just like, yeah, it's like nip it in the bud right now. Like, and you was like, oh yeah, I'll tell her tomorrow. Tomorrow, yeah, I'm enjoying singing with her now. And I'll tell her tomorrow. And it's just like, so it's the day of the big daytime fucking tryout concert to be idols. And she's like, and the shot of you one kind of like, come, I'm shaking, I'm scared to go out on stage, but with you with me, I feel like we can make it to the top. And her running, smiling back at her friend, holding her hand into daylight. And I was just like, it's like a nice scene, but it's also like, oh yeah, that'll 100% kill her. she can't do that.
Well, I don't know whether we're kidding, because we've had at least one character fully inflame themselves in the very first episode against sunlight.
Yeah, okay, maybe it won't kill her, but it will reveal her to be. I mean, like coming out on stage on fire is not exactly a good debut. Yeah.
Yeah, and so in the present day, they're trying to convince her to sing on the stream.
Because our YouTuber has found her ancient technology of a cassette tape. And she's like, holy shit, you're the talented one? Okay, we're doing fucking song covers because those are super popular. But she's like, for the first time, she actually puts her foot down and is like, no, not going to do it. Don't want to do that, so I'm not going to do it. Which she's been very, like, everyone else has been walking over her in the show so far. So kind of a big deal for her to be putting her foot down. So they're like, let's investigate her former partner and see where she's at. Maybe that'll convince her, that kind of thing.
They get is it like a fake Twitter message or is it a comment? I can't remember. Somebody points them in direction of.
Yeah, America. I saw her perform 2 years ago in this bar in New York, basically because they have the whole of internet to research and ask people about. Yeah, they can do it that way.
Yeah, she travels to New York. Forgets to get a new sim.
Some fucking actual like Western accents. Like I was shocked. If those are people doing impersonations, they're doing a fabulous job. But actually, to go out of your way and find some people with hey, it's me, an American, like do a proper fucking accent. Like, yeah, I'm impressed they went that far with it.
And unfortunately, it turns out she died. But you can take her guitar case with you. And when they take the guitar case, they find more ancient technology, a DVD.
I was thinking the same as well, man. It's like, wow, these vampires have a disk drive. It's like, you can tell they're old-fashioned.
And there's a video of her and her band, and yeah, this is what it takes to convince Fu to pick
Yeah,
up
it's them kind of doing a fake interview while they're just jamming as a band, and it's just like, oh, who inspired you? I was like, oh, this girl Fu, and it's like, yeah, she just bounced on me, but I mean, like, I hope she's still out there doing music now. That would make me happy. And it's like, and her Fu getting to tearfully, and all the other characters like crying as well, getting to tearfully is like, I'll do it for you. I can't talk to you because you're dead, but I can talk to your DVD like it's you. So close enough. And then she gets to do. I think we don't. Do we hear her sing up to this point? Because this is the first bit we see her singing.
I can't remember.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good, but it's not as much the sort of show that I was enjoying.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Maybe they just want to get the serious vampire like tragedy out of the way so they could do vampire shenanigans. Yeah.
yeah, that's the one character you can do it with, because I don't think that pathos is going to work with
With anyone else, all these guys are jerks.
maybe
Actually,
Yuki, because you might learn why they're being a jerk to her. Because yeah, there's the stuff with you. There's not this, because I've been rewatching Wellington Paranormal, and there's an episode where one of the characters from What We Do in the Shadows, the most recent guy to be turned into a vampire from that, he's working at the blood bank, and he's stealing blood from the blood bank to deliver to local vampires.
right.
And there's a bit towards the end when they catch him, and the vampire who's delivering to in the graveyard is. It's like, I would have bought it off if he was stealing. That blood's needed for important emergencies. Which is very similar to the bit when Yuki's telling them off for stealing blood from a hospital. I was like, oh yeah, that is a good gag. I've kind of seen it. It's more layered in Paranormal, but
Yeah,
it is.
yeah, because that's across like the movie and the What We Do in the Shadows and all the other stuff. Yeah, yeah.
Is that it's nice that this like vampires having to live in society, and so therefore you have to respect society to a degree, otherwise they're going to come after you with wooden stakes. Yeah. Then we got Chibi Godzilla Raids Again, season 2, episode 12, Chibi Ghidorah's part-time job, in which Chibi Ghidorah, all three of his heads, go to apply to work at Hedorah's restaurant.
Ideally, to get paid 3 times. Is the thing that they are stating. They all three hope to get 3 different positions, even though only one position is open. Yeah, it's again, it's your man's eye bit, but because you have 3 different heads that can give you different reactions to each of the questionnaire fucking things, you get a lot of jokes out of it, a lot of mileage out of it. And also, Chibi Godzilla is there expecting to actually use the restaurant.
It's not Hedorah, it's Gabara. I can't remember if you've seen.
Oh, sorry. No, we've seen Hedorah. He was teaching him about humans. Yeah, I heard Gabara when you said it. Yeah, the guy who runs the restaurant. Badly.
The reason I was getting mixed up is because Hedorah's in next week's episode.
Okay.
They'll be teaching us other stuff because it's called Mr. Hedo's Lecture. Yes, it's just gags about having 3 heads and gags about insulting Gabara about how bad he is at doing his own job.
I'm trying to explain the amount of work it takes to pretend that you're stirring something. It's a lot more work than actually stirring something.
So this is a rare appearance of Chibi Godzilla do it in the reactive role rather than
in the serious straight man role, the sensible one that the jokes are, the idiots are built around. Yeah.
Then I watched it this week. It's Sengoku Yoko, episode 16, Mad God of the Wild City.
Thank God you watched it, because I'm so bad at remembering everyone's fucking name in this.
I'm not going to guarantee I can help you on that front. But yes, so they've met up with the Fox girl, who's now a Fox woman. She was always a Fox woman. She's just now actually.
She's aged up a little. Yeah. Like, even though I like that what this episode goes, like the timeline between this and the first season, it's a couple of months. Like, it's not that fucking long ago.
Go rescue Sakiko from the dragon, who I assume is having that. He's got such a character design. I assume he's going to be hanging around for a while. A bit.
Yeah. He's going to be an either antagonist that keeps coming back, or like eventually onto the good guy side because he feels like
Why?
that.
Why is he specifically trying to kidnap Tsukiko? Is it just because he fancies her?
No, so the weird little egg man, the green egg, has hired random monsters to attack them. Like we said, the last guy, one guy was a swordsman, but the second guy he comes with is this dragon who's come back again, so he didn't get immediately trashed when he appeared. So I think he's got it out for Senya the kid, because his dad slash master was a dragon. Like I think it's like, oh, you think you're good enough to have your dad be a dragon? Well, I'm a real dragon or something. Like he seems to have beef with the kid specifically.
Yeah.
So
Then he gets Tama because Tama tricks him into kidnapping a fake Tsukiko.
it's a pretty good thing, I'll make the shadow clones out of friggin' leaves, and then she grabs one. It's like, well, it's obvious which one she is. Bye, suckers. And it's like, that was the fake one.
There's the real. She's like, there's like still loads of them falling out the sky.
Yeah. They resolve it by having your man kind of going up and grabbing her, the kid, and she's like, "Don't worry, the leaves would have formed like a parachute or something. I'm sure it's fucking magic and shit. It's grand. I wasn't gonna let a child splat on the ground. Come on."
Then they kind of catch up. They send the kids out, and Shinsuke and Tama catch up, which lets us fill in on what Shinsuke's got me phone going off like crazy. Shinsuke and his background of like, okay, so the mountain god trained him for 3 months to go and hunt for Jinka. In return, once he finds Jinka, she'll turn Shakugan back into a person again.
Back from a rock to a person. It's like, you can do that? It's like, probably, I'm a mountain god. And he's like, I'll do it, even though it'll be a hellish 3 months of training. And then immediately comes across her trying to execute the small child. And he's like,
we do get to see some of the 3 months, which just seems to involve him getting beaten up and thrown off things.
I appreciate it. Like the Fox kind of going, it's like, you seem like you're leaving a lot of shit out. It's like, it's a training montage. It don't fucking worry about it.
I love the way it segues into the training montage of like you see rubble falling in the scene in the inn where they're talking, and scrolls up to show him dangling off a cliff. Yes, and,
it's a good transition. Yeah.
He sees the mountain god captured Senya, and she's trying to do a deal with Senya, similar to how she's done with Shinsuke. Is like,
I'll release your dad for your dad isn't dead. Your dragon dad slash master isn't dead. I've got him contained, and I'll release him if you do one favor for me. And the kid's just like, how about I just kill you and then he's fucking free? That works out for me, huh? And she's like, all right, I guess I gotta kill you, kid.
So Shinsuke stands up to her, and she's like, "Oh, I trained you well. You wouldn't have stood up to me 3 months ago, so I know my training's paid off. But unfortunately, if he's not going to work for me, I'm going to have to kill him, and you're standing in the way, so I'm going to have to kill you as well." But her, is it Reshin, the right?
Her human familiar or whatever. Yeah.
Right-hand woman's trying to tell her about something. Seemingly, I don't think necessarily trying to stop her from fighting these people. It seems like there's something else more important than fighting these two people. She needs to tell her right now.
It's either a momentary distraction or something related. Yeah.
Yeah. She does it twice, and they manage to get away. She sends 2 trees after them, which are like
rockets,
which leaves them falling to the ground. And this is how Senya loses his memories.
It's where we start this season, yeah. So again, not that fucking long ago. It feels like there's been a longer gap, but there has not. There's been about as long a gap between seasons, nearly.
Yes, and she's going like, "Why do you leg it?" Before I'd woken up, and she's like, Thomas said, "I didn't know when you were going to wake up. There was things I was need to do, but it turned out I could have probably waited. But I need to go and find my master to teach me more illusions. Oh, here he is. He's up my sleeve. He's just a green squiggly thing who doesn't talk.
Just makes weird noises. Yeah, don't worry about him. He's just gonna help us out, I guess, maybe down the line. We'll see.
Okay, so let's head off, and they get to like a fork in the road. They split off, and she has a little conversation with Senya, which seems to like, because Senya notices like she knows me, but I don't think we're friends.
Yeah.
And but
there's a closeness there from your experiences, but you're not closer than that. Basically, you went through some shit together. Yeah.
But him saying that he doesn't want to use his powers because he thinks avoiding using his powers will make him more human, that seems to soften Tama to him. It's like, you're saying the right things, kid.
Yeah, and it's reminding her of her brother boyfriend type situation that is now the big bad, seemingly, where it's kind of like he wanted to become human too, or sorry, he wanted to become Katawara, and the fact that you're a Katawara wants to become human is like, that's good. That's the right fucking attitude to bring this thing closer rather than separate. Yeah.
We say he's the big bad, but I think it appears to be some other big bads. But
Oh no, like that's the thing. Like at the start of this, you assume that's the case, but like in this episode, like someone's sending fucking things after them, and not just the weird little Eggman. He's probably involved in it somehow.
Because the second half is they get to a city. Shinsuke wants the kids to deliver a letter to something to do with the shogunate, and then
Yeah, some
Senya's
contact he has. Yeah.
say we never want to get involved in politics. Don't get involved in politics. That's organization's not going to do that. And then as they're walking there, this green woman appears to him and says, I'm going to come and visit you again. And when I do, I'm going to be a mad god. So try and find somewhere where I'm not going to harm anybody else. And then
try and like get to an occupied by many fucking innocent victims place. And it's kind of like, thanks for the heads up. Something's come up. Other little girl, I have to go do a thing. If you could deliver the letter, that'd be great. So he's going to go fight.
They saw the green woman.
Yeah.
So he's able to tell everybody else about this later on. Yes, and so finds an isolated space, and then she appears this time as a doll, which chases him out of.
It's like a combination. I've forgotten what those wooden doll they give to kids. It's like the doll that contains a kid's soul or that kind of thing. There's a proper name for it, but it's also that in combination with like a Matryoshka doll, because it has like, you can open it and it's like, well, the god is inside it basically. So
I thought when the trees come up, are we going to get Italo Circus with trees? We don't. Then when it splits open and there's loads of other dolls inside, I was like, are we going to get Italo Circus with dolls? No, we're not. We're going to get whatever. What's the things that the later
from Gundam? Yeah. The drones that have lasers, and I can't think of the name of them. But yeah, I was thinking, is it going to do it now? It's like, no. It's keeping that. It's waiting on it.
We don't get it because, turns out because all through this, Senju's getting more and more flashbacks to his dad. Because when they get to the city, he has a flashback of his dad telling him, "Yeah, that city's full of spirits. It's a city of devils."
Like they keep doing things that remind him of a thing his dad told him about this specific circumstance or that kind of thing. Like, so he, like, it's kind of like waking up in amnesia. You know a full amount of language, so you have experience, but you can't relate it to the experience. And so actually experiencing the things is bringing back the visions of his dragon dad.
Yeah, all the creatures inside of him are wanting to fight this mad god, which is different to something else they'd encountered earlier.
The prior episode, when they came across the kid who's the black dragon, they're like, "Oh shit, a dragon! Let's fucking run away!" Which every other fucking Katawara they come across, they want to fight, but they don't want to fuck with dragons.
Okay.
So yeah, and I'm guessing that's from the experience of the dad. Is like, we're not good enough to fight a dragon, but a mad god, yeah, let's fucking have a piece of that.
Yeah, so they're trying to run away. He's trying to use the powers to run away, but then the god sort of begs him to kill her.
Yeah, like in a moment of kind of clarity, because she's, again, like the guy in the prior episode, just spouting like nonsense sentences, like words that aren't lining up with anything that's fucking happening. And that's the thing, is like, hey, I know I've got mad. I've got a moment of clarity. Please kill me. I don't want to fucking live like this.
The five have messed with me. Something along those lines is what she says. They've worked their way inside me. And caused it to behave like this. So yeah, and then Shinsuke finally catches up, and oh my goodness, he's covered in the remains of a god that he's just killed. Yeah, have they mentioned this 5 before, or is this entirely new
I
information?
think the prior Mad God mentioned something of it, but it sounded like nonsense. But this one, like, not only obviously she said it as well. It's not a string of nonsense words; those are specific words. And also Shinsuke reacting is like, "Oh fuck, those fucking 5," and it's like, okay, okay. So he seems to know what's going on with that.
Yes. Also, throughout the episode, we see that he is an alcoholic.
Oh yeah, no, he's got problems.
He's like, what are you going to do? I'm going to get my sake on. And then when she's panicking when she comes back to report that Senya's run off, he goes, "Oh, you better get this down, yeah." And she spits it out. So that's sorry, that's sake, because it's literally the
Yeah,
only
he's like, "Here, kid, you need a drink," and it's like, "Oh, fuck, that wasn't the water." Like he's too fucking drunk to not have given a child alcohol.
when yes when she comes back panicking, he's all rosy faced and jolly. It's, yeah, it's very good. And when they get back and they
Hmm.
meet a guy who informs them and us, the viewer, he does not have time to introduce himself right now.
That'll be next episode. Don't worry about it. I'm a guy for next episode. It's cool.
Because he's
Which
giving
is a very it's a great
back.
joke, I gotta say. Yeah. I don't know. Like I assume intentional. It feels like intentional, but
Yes, it is. Because it's the way it cuts straight to his face, and now he's looking at us, the viewer, and not the characters.
yeah, that's true actually. Yeah. And it's also the thing of because you see the little girl walking towards our characters after coming back from slaughtering a god, and the footsteps are like those are too heavy for a little girl's footsteps. It's because he's giving her a piggyback, and he's like, "Don't worry, I'll introduce myself next episode. It's cool." Um, yeah, you can see why we like this show, Brian. Right? It's a lot of
Yes.
fun.
Yeah, I wonder if this is the Raido Zanzo, who was the person they were trying to get the message to. That was the name of the guy, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah. Or involved with some government guy because he has like a proper samurai haircut, basically, an official looking one.
Okay, I just looked at Raido Zanzo. I guess that's not this guy.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, it is very enjoyable. Maybe I'll have time to watch it next week. Maybe I won't with 2 episodes of My Dear Nakata.
That's true. That's fair.
Then Suicide Squad Isekai, episode 8. The idiots have returned back to the capital city, thinking that even though they escaped from the prison, they'll be welcomed with open arms.
They'll probably
Given
throw a party or at least buy us a couple drinks, right? I mean, come on, come on. And you even see this being debated in, I guess, the Senate or whatever the fuck you'd call that. The place where they have their fucking holographic version of fantasy world where they can move all the little pieces like in Game of Thrones. And one guy kind of going is like, well, they did take out the fucking enemy base. And I was like, the enemy base was like in like on the edge of some fucking lake, like not in a strategic position. Who fucking cares about that enemy base? Well, they did free the elves. It's like, yeah, but the elves were like they did rebel against us. So it's like, did they do a good thing? It's debatable based off of politic shenanigans.
yes. So swords are drawn, guns are pulled, shark people are tied up and prepared to be executed.
I thought it was interesting that the queen was like specifically to the guy who was like, I think these Suicide Squad guys might be cool. Like she's like, hey, you're one of my most loyal guys. He's like, absolutely, Your Majesty. He's like, okay, I need you to go berate them when they come back. And like it's him slapping Harley in the face that makes a shark eat him. And it's like, that's an excuse to fucking execute all you cunts, which is exactly I assume what the queen was going for.
They haggle it down to exiling the human people and executing the demi-human. So they find themselves hanging out with the commoners in a bar, getting
Not before
absolutely
like the princess was saying to Harley, he's like, I'm sorry, I wasn't supposed to go down that. Harley's like, man, fucking just don't fucking talk to me.
leave
You
the base.
piss me off.
So I
Hmm.
wonder whether the princess is going to use that baseball bat at some point in the future.
Yeah, yeah.
What she discovers at the end of the episode.
Mm-hmm. It's not a
Yeah,
magical baseball bat. It's just a wooden baseball bat. But you know,
I don't know. It might be magical because it's clear
it's
certain
magical land, I guess. Yeah, yeah.
because we know that Clayface has become more magical. We've occasionally seen Harley get an aura on things.
Swinging stuff, yeah.
And I don't think anybody else except Clayface has examined it, because why would they? They're all a bunch of
They're not the
incredible.
most forward-thinking people, but we do get that amazing thing where they all try to drown their sorrows in the bar.
And
Deadshot
Peacemaker,
is performing trick shots for booze. Harley's getting shit-faced to the point where she's in the toilet throwing up. However, Peacemaker,
yes,
he can hold his fucking liquor. He's like all these people. Like, I find truth at the bottom of a glass. I find peace at the bottom of a glass. And the fact that like the reveal is so good. Yeah.
Also, the dragon makes friends with an owlbear.
I was like, was that an owlbear or a griffin? I wasn't entirely sure what was going on. It's a cute other fantasy animal.
We see like the adult ones; they're more griffin-like. It's like cute owlbear in small form, and then more griffin in the adult form.
Right.
Yeah. So they leave them behind because they're going to need to get their bombs reset. And yeah, Amanda's had enough. End the mission.
It's funny that like he gets a call while they're getting their bombs and their head reset, and it's just like you had a fucking phone the whole time. He's like, "Bah. I'm on the phone to the boss." He's like, yeah, I mean, like, I think we could probably pull it out, and she's like, it's not gonna happen. I'm just gonna boop. There we go.
Importantly, when we see her thing, though, we can see there's no signal coming from King Shark. So it's clear they were never in danger unless they got too close to the gate.
That is a button to blow you up, not a button to protect you from being blown up, or a portal to protect you from being blown up.
Yeah. Yeah. There's no signal, so there's no timer on him, so he's not going to blow up because he's too far away. Because we, the viewer, only knows that, and Waller knows that. Nobody else knows that.
Yeah, I mean, like, Flag thinks that's the case as well. So yeah.
So they see smoke at the Capitol, and he convinces Waller, "Let us go. We're going to. This is our last chance. We save the Capitol. They're going to be friends of us."
Yeah, and they're in their desperate time, so I mean, like, we can probably do it. And the thing is, like, at this stage, she's basically told Flag it's like, you come back, I'm gonna leave all those cunts there to fucking die. Who gives a shit about them? We're gonna pull out a fantasy land invasion for now. So he's got it home free, but he's putting his neck on the line to go, like, we can do this last fucking mission.
Well, more importantly, once they're away, it's like, we're going to screw over both of those old ladies.
Yeah, Flag's fucking done at this stage. Yeah, he's just like, no.
Never in any danger. Clayface, who has his head blown up, gets back up because he moved his brain and heart into different parts of his body.
Because I was thinking, it's like, listen, I'm not, like, maybe you can kill King Shark with one of those. Maybe. Like, he did survive a sword being ripped out of his fucking guts. But Clayface is like, can you blow up Clayface's head? Because he's made of clay. Like, that's kind of his thing. But him getting up, I love the reactions of Deadshot and Harley, but more so Peacemaker, who just does the little shudder, like he barely moves. It's such a funny visual.
It's like he is scared, but he can't show it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we flash back to 2 hours ago, where the princess discovers that her mother is possessed by a Final Fantasy villain. Looks like the final boss from some sort of Final Fantasy game.
It's got some extra gubbins on it. Yeah.
Some sort of demon is being reflected in the mirror. What did you say? Then the question is, who exactly has set fire to the Capitol?
Yeah.
Is it the Empire, or has fighting broken out between the
Queen and her subjects? Yeah.
I guess we'll find out next week. We're still no closer to the identity of the Emperor. Gotta be the Joker.
It's the Joker. But, I mean, like, I'm fine with knowing it's the fucking Joker going in. That's grand. But, you know.
And no people this week. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's a strange one. I assume it's some Olympic scheduling type shenanigans. Unless it is they just couldn't finish the episode in time, but I thought this one was, like, done ahead, so.
It's OLM. I don't think that's going to be the case. So it's just off for other reasons. Yeah, so that's it for this week. Next week, we got Detective Conan's back. I did resist watching that. there's some interesting stuff in One Piece, but perhaps not the entire episode, so maybe not.
Oh shit! I forgot to say this week. Yeah. If you watch One Piece, is it this week? Watch Garp do a punch. Like that's you're good. Like
to throw a single punch.
oh yeah, it's a good one.
So we could talk about that next week. Because like if both of us have watched it, we could chat about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think anything else surprising.
Besides 2 episodes of like you say, our dear friend.
Yes, our dear friend Nakatan showing up again. So that'll be it for this week. Goodbye. Ta-da for now.